So this is an email received, and so I'm going to read it before I respond. It says, information about Peugeot 406 from Dal Crush. I don't know if this is the... Okay, I don't even know if that's the correct name or fake name, because the name mentioned on the mail is different from the name of the email. Okay, it says, hello Ikenna, my name is Elon, and your videos about Peugeot 406 are very interesting. I'm writing to you from Togo to ask you for some information. I have a Peugeot 406 2004 European model with EW10J4 engine. Normally, with EW10J4 engine, normally, but I recently have a problem that has no solution because I changed spark, conscial position sensor, knock sensor, ignition coil, but the fault persists. The vehicle starts normally with unstable idle sometimes when driving a few kilometers. The acceleration does not respond well and I have to restart. The vehicle I have to restart the vehicle to drive a little more before the problem starts again. I change a lot of parts relating to the ignition, like the fuel pump, idle sensor, and the problem remains the same. I only have the injectors to change next time. And very recently, I started to document the problem when opening the ECU compartment. I noticed that my ECU was Sagem brand when I thought I had an EW10J4 engine. My question is, an EW10J4 engine can start? My question is, can EW10J4 engine start with a Sagem ECU of EW7J4 engine? Otherwise, what can differentiate the two engines? Because my VIN tells me that I have an EW10J4. And can my problem come from this ECU? I remind you that the vehicle was working fine before and the problem started after an air conditioning repair. I'll be very happy to have your opinion on this problem. I'm not sure I understand. Most of the things you said there is not, I don't know, but I can say, okay, I'll just try to summarize and then respond to your mail, given the description you said, but it wasn't that clear. Your 406, as you said, has EW10J4 engine. And how are you sure it's actually EW10J4 that is there? I'm not talking about what the VIN is saying. I'm talking about what exactly is on the inside the engine bay. You didn't state that you are sure it's EW10J4. You are basing its EW10J4 based on the VIN, not on the engine itself. Even if your cylinder head is showing is EW10J4, it doesn't mean the engine block is EW10J4. So, anyway, that's by the way. But for what you're saying, it's also possible there's kind of an abuse of the system. If truly the engine is EW10J4 and you are running the vehicle with EW7J4 engine ECU, which is the Sagem brand, because the EW10J4 ECU is magnetic marine. I believe I've talked about this many videos. I've done articles on them. So it's possible that someone paired the engine ECU to the BSR, unless the two were replaced as a kit. So, in fact, I don't know if truly you live in Togo. So, because from what you are explaining here, this is what kind of things they do in Nigeria. Unless they do exactly the same thing in Togo. Otherwise, it kind of looks like you live in Nigeria, but you want to claim you live elsewhere. But if, let's assume truly you live in Togo, then it means you guys also abuse Peugeot vehicles like they do in Nigeria. So the Sagem brand is for EW7J4, and no matter what you do, you can never make your EW10J4 to run properly. The Sagem ECU will always run the EW10J4. The EW10J4 will be underpowered, can never give you that performance that engine was designed, but including the fuel economy. Yeah, the engine will start and run, but still not give you what you want. Most times they give something that, like, the RPM will be going up and down, kind of haunting a little at idle. Now you say you changed so many things. I don't understand. If you knew all these things, from what I could see here, you know some of this. You would have known that the best course of action was to scan the vehicle. You just keep changing parts. I mean, a simple scan tool, at least with a professional scan tool, would have shown you what your issues are. At least narrow it down for you, even if it doesn't show you everything. Because some of these things you are removing and putting another, you may end up removing what is working and putting something that may not be as good as the one you remove, or won't last that long. And you remove something that works well. Or in the process of trying to remove you create a problem, depending on whoever. Because whoever that is doing this replacement, unless you are the one doing it, whoever that is replacing this parts for you, means he doesn't know what he's doing. Since all they are, for what I could see here, you're just doing, or the person is just doing guesswork, changing this and that, you know. Now you said the issue started when you worked on your AC. If that is true, then it's also possible they've done an, uh, um, an abuse on the AC system. In other words, the wiring connection to one of your AC components has been abused, and it's the engine ECU now reacting to it. Remember, for the 406 D9 specifically with this engine, the engine ECU works with the AC system. They are both interconnected. So if there's an abuse on the wiring system to the AC, it's going to affect the way the engine ECU run the engine. So it's possible that, like I said before, that what your car is suffering from is just an electrical abuse. All these things you are saying here, it doesn't sound like a failing component. Of all these things you've been changing does not have, from the description of these symptoms, they don't have anything to do with those parts. They have nothing to do with whatever issue your car is having from the description. So yeah, you really, for less, I mean, your car is really I would say kind of messed up running. There's nothing wrong in using a different ECU to run an engine, a different engine. But in your case, you are using one that will never give you what that engine is meant to serve. I mean, people use different ECU to increase the engine performance. But in your case, you are using to underpower the engine. So it's as if moving backward instead of forward. So if truly your engine, you need to find out truly, even after you sorted out this thing, because from look of things, it's likely that what they did on the AC or whatever that is causing this thing has affected you, because what you're explaining here is how the engine ECU usually fails, or when they're about to pack up finally, you start misbehaving like this. So you're likely having engine ECU failure. So eventually one day to pack up, your car will no longer stand. That will be the end. But of course, if you put a scan diagnostic tool, it will tell you if truly the problem is from the engine ECU. But from the symptoms, that's how they behave when they're about to pack up. So first, the ECU. If truly the problem is from the ECU, after a thorough diagnosis, then use that opportunity and find out exactly what's the exact engine on that engine bay or in the engine bay. Don't just look at the cylinder head, also the engine block. Find out, they all have engine codes engraved on them. Both ones, both the cylinder head and engine block. Find out which one is there. Which of the two are they from the same engine? When you do, then which ECU, engine ECU is there? Is it the Sagem or magnetic malaria? Then from there, of course, it's only pointed out as magnetic malaria. So it depends. If truly what the engine on the engine bay is EW10J4, then you know your Sagem you are using is the wrong ECU for that vehicle. Then find out what is the BSI unit there. What is it? Is it the one did for the VIN on the BSI? What does it show? Does it show the same VIN on the chassis or the body of the vehicle? Does it show EW10J4, the program for engine ECU, EW10J4, or is it VIN showing EW7J4 engine? So that if you are buying another engine ECU, let's assume the diagnosis will eventually lead that the problem is engine ECU. If you are buying another one, so you know exactly what to buy so that your engine will come up and run very well. And then go back to, I don't know, whoever that did that AC repair. If you can take it to another person, and this time someone that knows what he's doing, let him thoroughly check all the wiring harness in that engine bay. Not just talking about the one on the engine, talking about even the one that goes to the fan, the front of the fan in front of the radiator, and also that goes to the compressor, and also that goes to this AC pressure switch, the gas AC gas pressure switch that is attached on the depending on your engine. You say the 2004 model, then the switch will be on the condenser, unlike the 99 or 2000 model backward that will be attached on the dryer. So yours, the AC gas pressure switch will be on the condenser. Check those. I think it's about 3 wiring connector on the switch. So check to be sure there's no tampering, no bypass on that socket or that wire from there to the fuse box. Check all the wires. The reason why I'm saying that, if you don't, if you put another ECU, whatever killed the other one will eventually kill that one too. So you really need the car to be thoroughly diagnosed. Start, not just the electrical, the mechanical too. Start from your engine. Which engine is there? Then go electrical. So that by the time you find what is causing the ECU, yeah, probably was working well before until this app. You now know what to do. If eventually, even though it's from the description of the symptoms you gave, it's pointing at the faulty engine ECU. I'm not saying it's certain, but you are working with the information you gave me here on the screen. It's pointing at the faulty or malfunctioning engine ECU, or less something else. But it all depends on what the result of proper diagnosis. So if eventually is the ECU, you have to deal with these two things, the mechanical and the electrical diagnosis. You have to. Otherwise, you'll be going back and forth, going through all those things. Since even you have also pointed out the screen parts on the ECU and the engine, they don't match, according to you. But the VIN on the vehicle papers shouldn't be what should be using to consider what engine, whether the engine is EW10J4 or EW7J. What matters what exactly is in the vehicle, not what is pasted on the windscreen or on the paper, vehicle paper. It's what is in the engine bay. From there, you now know which ECU that is supposed to be there. I hope this makes sense. And this let this also be also more not necessarily a warning, but also an eye opener for people who take their Peugeot cars, especially modern Peugeot cars, for granted. Take it to anyhow cut and join technicians. They will mess up your car. At the end of the day, you have to suffer it. If you are buying a modern Peugeot vehicle, like I have said, you have two options. The first option is take it to a proper, or take it to a dealership or a proper workshop that have all the required or necessary tools, or necessary tools to diagnose and repair modern Peugeot vehicle. Yes, they will charge you more, just like dealerships, but then at least you have peace of mind. But if you can't afford them, then the second option is you get your own diagnostic tool and then you start doing your diagnosis yourself. Even if you don't have to be the one to do the repair, but when you diagnose, you take it to whoever that will do the repair for you and instruct the person on what to do. If you know you cannot do that one, yeah, well, your only option is to take it to quacks or local mechanics who their knowledge they are limited when it comes to modern Peugeot cars. Then they will deal with you the best they know, or more like deal with the vehicle, not you. Even though it eventually is even you, because it's turning on you. You can't. I'm not honestly. Sometimes I don't blame them. They are doing the best they can. That's the best they know. So you are the one choosing to patronize them because probably you can. Those are the kind of technicians you can afford. But you forget that their knowledge is not the same with those people that charge higher. So you are getting what you paid for. So if you have to, in that case, you have to take some responsibilities and start learning some of these things so that while you are spending that little, you can also prevent them from damaging your vehicle rather than paying them, taking it to people that you pay very cheap amount of money and expect them to give you the same quality service of people that charge higher because they know higher or have the right tools to be able to give you that quality service. These people don't have and they don't know. You don't expect somebody whose knowledge is limited on Peugeot 504 to give you the same quality service on a more modern Peugeot vehicle that is electrically controlled. And would you really come back and start blaming that person for damaging your car? All it takes is to be logical and you see the answers before you. So guys, be very careful. If your AC has a problem, have it properly diagnosed, replace what needs to be repaired. Don't do bypass. Don't try to bypass to make it work. No matter what you want is your AC to work. And don't leave your car anyhow to them. Let them do what you might, let them work on it. They will do it the way they want. Stay there. If you take it to those high people that charge very high, yeah, they know they will take that responsibility, charge you that high, and they will do it the normal way, the way Peugeot recommended those works to be done. They won't do such bad. I'm not saying I'm vouching for all of them, but they know what is at stake. So they will be very careful. They will charge you high and give you that service. If you take it to people that don't know, that do try and error, and you leave them, all the responsibility, you push it to them and expect them to not to cut corners, then you are lying to yourself. Because from look at it, I know here in Nigeria they do it a lot. They start to, once your AC have a problem, the best they also go ECU. Now you have to